Well, you get a simultaneous effect of many different things. So it started with COVID. It's not completely finished because China is going into a zero COVID policy, which is affecting not only China, but the broader global supply chain. Then we had shortages on components and shortages on containers. And now we have a war and the increase of energy prices. So yeah, the world is a very complicated place to do business.
But the great thing about what you do is it's about having a product that A, lasts a lot longer than the old product we had 15, 10, 20 years ago, and it's a product that does save energy. So is your problem the same as Herbert Dies's problem, that you just can't get enough product out to market with enough volume?
So it's true that with the energy crisis that we're facing at this point in time, there is a regain of positive traction on what is saving energy, because I believe that one of the quickest solutions or one of the quickest moves we can do to the energy crisis is to save energy and to consume less. Mind you, we have produced in Q4 a bulb, an LED bulb, which is consuming 60% less than today's LED bulbs. So if you remember, from incandescent to LED, we went from 100 to 3. Now we go from 3 to 1. So yes, there's a positive level of traction that we see on energy efficient products.
Expensive, these products now? Because you've got to pass on the margin problems you're having.
Yeah, they're slightly more expensive, but last also much longer. We're talking about 50,000 hours, which is about 20 years now.
Yeah.
We were talking to PwC this week, and effectively the head of the organisation was saying that strategies have changed across the board. All the clients they're talking to, instead of the strategic imperatives they were focusing on, it's about cost cutting. Are you seeing that? Is that starting to come through into your business, where corporates that might have been rolling out some of these policies are now thinking, I just need to cut back right now because conditions are uncertain?
I would say, Karen, that cost cutting is not a strategy. The strategy needs to remain stable. I don't see anything today which is fundamentally changing our strategy, maybe except the way we source, because the world globalization has probably, ended up. And so we have a global supply chain, and we need to go to a supply chain which is more continentally based. But otherwise, our strategy is clear. We were talking yesterday about ESG and sustainability. As you know, sustainability is fundamentally ingrained in our strategy because we want to grow the company not at the detriment of the planet. So our strategy is not fundamentally changed, just slightly adapted.
Managing cost does go to managing debt, which is a strategy, though, when we've got interest rates going up. That's been a very loud and clear message from the ECB this week. Do you know what your business looks like in a slightly higher interest rate setting? Is there a sort of anything that you can look back over history, given that you've got this phase of expansion on the right side of history, you're part of European plans to try and get towards some green solution? Do you even know what an interest rate hike and a series of them will look like for your business?
So for our business, we've been restructuring our debt and we have fixed rates. So we're quite safe.
On the
client side, I think on the demand side, interest rates is not the most important thing. Frankly speaking, I believe that interest rate is a bumper to the economy and a protection. They've been too low for too long. And so the fact that they go up is pretty normal. Now, the biggest problem we have is if you have energy prices going that high, it will end up limiting demand. And that's something that we cannot really avoid because energy prices are touching everything.
All the problems that China's having, and you've mentioned that, and the supply chain issues thereafter as well, has it lessened the difference between the cost of production for some of the Chinese manufacturers and indeed a Signify as well? One of the constant threats that you and I and Karen and Jeff have spoken about for many years is the fact that there are players out there who are trying to undercut. Maybe there are differences in quality of product, but they are also trying to undercut on price as well. Has that evened out at all?
Well, no, it's still there.
Yeah.
For me, it's not so much undercutting. It's also some companies are really helped by the government with subsidies. We know companies in our industry that get 5% of their sales in subsidies, and it's very difficult to compete when at the same time, we're investing a lot in R&D. But we've made that clear, and we hope that this will regulate at one stage. But it's still existing. Point.
So what? Does Europe need to protect its companies more?
I don't know. I think we should take out all the protection rather than protect more.